The last words my father spoke to me before he shut the door in my face still burn inside me. "You're no longer my daughter." It happened a week before my mother's birthday. A day meant to be filled with laughter and celebration was instead clouded with anger and betrayal. My family had always been complicated, but I never thought the bond between a father and daughter could snap so violently, so suddenly. I carried that wound with me as I debated whether to attend Mom's birthday dinner. Part of me wanted to stay away, to avoid the awkward silences and his accusing stares. But another part, the part that loved my mother too much to abandon her, forced me to show up, even if it meant enduring the storm. What I didn't know was that the storm had another lightning strike waiting, and it would arrive through my sister's boyfriend. The conflict. To understand why my father disowned me, you need to know the secret I carried. I had been working for a high-profile company in the city for 2 years. The job was my lifeline, my chance to break free from the small-town expectations my father chained me to. He believed women belonged close to home, under the shadow of family. He wanted me to follow the path he had mapped out, work at his friend's shop, marry a man he approved of, and never question his authority. But I couldn't breathe in that cage. So I left. And worse, I refused to apologize for leaving. When he confronted me, his face red with fury, accusing me of abandoning family values, I told him the truth. I'd rather be free and alone than chained and silent. That was when he disowned me. By the time Mom's birthday arrived, the tension had reached a boiling point. My younger sister, Layla, tried to act as peacemaker, begging me to come. "Please, Samira," she whispered over the phone. "Mom deserves to have us both there. Don't let his stubbornness ruin everything." I gave in, for Mom's sake. The house smelled of roasted chicken and cinnamon cake when I arrived. Mom smiled warmly, though her eyes carried the weight of sadness she couldn't hide. My father didn't look at me once. His silence was sharper than any insult. Layla, cheerful as always, tried to distract everyone. She introduced her boyfriend, Daniel, a tall man with kind eyes who shook hands with my parents and sat beside her, their fingers interlocked. But then, as his gaze drifted across the table, he froze. His smile vanished, his jaw tightened, and his eyes locked on me. "She's my boss," he whispered, barely loud enough for anyone else to hear. The room turned heavy. The twist. Layla laughed nervously, thinking he was joking. "Oh come on, Daniel, stop being silly." But Daniel didn't laugh. His face went pale as if the ground had just opened beneath him. "No, really. She's my boss. Samira is my manager." My fork clattered against the plate. Heat rose to my face as the table erupted in confusion. Mom blinked in surprise. Layla's smile cracked. My father's gaze finally snapped toward me, sharp and unforgiving. "You." His voice dripped with disbelief. "You're his boss?" I nodded slowly, my throat dry. "Yes. Daniel works in my department." The silence that followed felt like an earthquake rumbling beneath our feet. My father's voice thundered next. "So this is what you left us for? To strut around as some man's superior, humiliating him? Humiliating us?" Daniel raised his hands nervously. "Sir, it's not like that. Samira is, she's fair, respected. Everyone admires her leadership. But the damage was already done." My father's pride had been stabbed. He stood up so suddenly his chair screeched against the floor. "This is what happens when women forget their place," he spat, glaring at me. "You bring shame to this family." Tears stung my eyes, but I held my ground. For years, I had bent under his words. "Not tonight. You disowned me already, remember?" My voice cracked, but it carried strength. "So stop pretending you still have a say in my life." The fallout. Layla burst into tears, begging for everyone to calm down. Mom tried to soothe her, but the wound was too deep. Daniel looked torn between protecting my sister and defending me. After dinner, when most of the shouting had died down, Daniel asked to speak with me privately. We stepped outside into the cold night. The air felt cleaner away from the suffocating tension inside. I didn't know, he said quickly, his voice urgent. When Layla told me about her family, she never mentioned you. If I'd known you were her sister, I would have told her right away. I know, I said softly. It's not your fault. He rubbed the back of his neck. This is going to be complicated. Your father already dislikes you, and now, he trailed off, but I could finish his sentence. Now I was tangled into my sister's love life in a way that might ruin it. I looked at him carefully. Do you love her? Yes, he said without hesitation. More than anything. Something in his eyes convinced me he was telling the truth. Despite the chaos, I couldn't let my father's bitterness destroy my sister's happiness. You can't tell her the things my father said, I warned him. She doesn't need to choose between us. Protect her from that. He nodded solemnly. But fate wasn't done with us yet. Another twist. A week later, Layla showed up at my apartment. Her eyes were swollen from crying. You knew, she whispered, her voice trembling. You knew Daniel worked for you and you didn't tell me. I froze. Daniel had promised. I didn't know until that night, I said quickly. I swear. But Layla's pain cut deeper than my defense. Do you know what Dad told me? He said you manipulated Daniel, that you wanted to control him the same way you defied him. And now I don't know who to believe. Her words shattered me. My own sister, the one I had protected all my life, now doubted me. I grabbed her hands. Layla, listen to me. I would never do that to you. Daniel loves you. And I want nothing more than for you to be happy with him. Her eyes searched mine, desperate for truth. After a long silence, she collapsed into my arms, sobbing. I just want us to be a family again, she cried. But I knew deep down that might never happen. The conclusion. Mom's birthday had turned into a battlefield, and the scars it left were not easily healed. My father refused to speak to me, holding on to his pride like a shield. Layla tried to mend the rift, but even her love couldn't force reconciliation. Daniel kept his word and stood by her, though I saw the weight of divided loyalties wearing on him. At work, he respected me as his manager, and outside, he cherished my sister. Somehow, he balanced both roles with grace, though I often wondered how long it could last. As for me, I learned something that night. My father may have disowned me, but family isn't defined by who claims you, it's defined by who stands with you when everything falls apart. And while the story isn't over, one truth has become clear: sometimes the people who try hardest to break you end up teaching you how strong you really are. The rest? That's still unfolding.